What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock, what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to break down why on earth the whole market did take a big hit today. We did see SPY crash. I want to talk about why that happened after what Jerome Powell just said. Jerome Powell does have some very important warnings for investors when it comes to inflation and the new future policies of the Fed. So this is going to be extremely huge for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to discuss what he said. I'm also going to talk about how the market is responding, how this will affect the market in Tesla going forward. I also have some big pieces of news about Tesla to discuss, and also what Elon Musk, the man, the myth, the legend, said. That's also very, very big. Now, before I break anything down about Elon Musk, before I talk about what's going on with Tesla's share price, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner, so don't take any of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And you could always sell the 12 free stocks for cash and use that cash to buy some Tesla shares for free. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 4 days. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So Tesla had a crazy roller coaster of a day today. So did the whole market. You could see the market open right here. Tesla pushed up, then it went down and up and down, back and forth every 5 minutes. Then finally, Jerome Powell came on. Tesla pushed all the way up to 302. But just like what I told you guys yesterday was a possibility, we could get a big dump depending on what Powell says, or we could have just rallied to the moon. We ended up getting the dump. And Tesla went from 302 dumping all the way down to 287 a share, closing at 288, down 2.7%, a little bit red in the after hours as well. Now, it wasn't just Tesla. We're not just throwing stones at them. The whole market did this essentially. Look at SPY's setup. It pushed almost to 420 a share. We saw lots of choppy price action. Jerome Powell came on, it went up, and then boom, giant drop down to 405, which is where we closed. So huge drop from SPY, down 3.38%. And SPY should normally move like 0.3%, 0.5%. A 3.38% drop is massive for SPY. So SPY crashed after what Jerome Powell said, and the whole market is not looking the best right now, in my honest opinion. So you can see this absolutely giant red candle on SPY. It's not looking too good. It looks pretty bearish from here. SPY is most likely going to come down to 400 very soon, maybe even lower than that. So why is the market going to take a big hit? And I actually have another video for tomorrow where I'm going to discuss a couple more details about this. I don't want to kind of reveal the details yet. I'm going to talk about what's probably going to happen after the FOMC meeting. So that's essentially what I'm talking about right here. We have the FOMC meeting coming up on September 21st, 2022. That's going to be the bigger one. It's going to be between the 20th and the 21st. The 21st is going to be the bigger meeting where they actually release the rate hike. And that's why the market was kind of uneasy for a lot of time. And we finally got our direction. So I was talking about this yesterday. The market, the fear and greed index was pretty neutral yesterday. And the thing about that is we were greedy before. We went to neutral. We pushed up a bit back and forth. The market was kind of choppy. But then we finally picked our direction. The market went to the fearful side in one day. So crazy moves from the market. Why on earth is the market doing this? And this is where I'm going to talk about Jerome Powell. So Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed, had some very important things to say. He actually briefly spoke for like 10 minutes, but he said some huge things, important things. So the headlines are not lying. He did warn about some pain ahead as the Fed tightens to bring down inflation. And let's be honest, Powell mentioned in the past that when it comes to his monetary policy, he's going to make moves based off the data. And with that said, you can imply that things are not looking as good. The US economy is showing strong jobs reports for the month of July that came out in like August. And for other things like that, I hate to say it, and I mentioned this previously, this is a hint that the demand side in our economy did not drop to the degree that the Fed wanted it to. So the Fed is most likely going to be more hawkish, but not just more hawkish. Jerome Powell actually changed his words. This man, Jerome Powell, is notorious. He comes from the markets. He's notorious for being dovish, for trying to keep the market afloat. And he finally said something that caused the market to drop. He stated, and I quote, "The central bank will use our tools forcefully." That's what he said, forcefully. That's a hawkish statement to attack inflation that is still running near its highest level in more than 40 years. He mentioned that the Fed learned from their actions back in like the 70s and 80s. It's not going to be like that extreme, but the situation is still dire. It's super important. He mentioned the fact that there's a possibility that the central banks are going to raise the federal funds rate and keep it up there for a long period of time. Long is obviously very ambiguous. It could be interpreted differently, but that's a lot more hawkish than what he used to kind of appear as. Additionally, he also talked about something else that's important. That's the fact that inflation is not sustainable at this rate. They need to bring it down, and they will do whatever they can to bring it down ASAP. So it's clear that there's this big shift in his tone. But you have to remember, this wasn't necessarily something new. This was going on for months, right? Earlier this year, we saw inflation at these high numbers. This isn't anything new. He chose to do it intentionally right now. And there's a reason for that. We're probably going to find out the reason a little bit later. I'm actually going to mention that a little bit tomorrow in the video. Let's just say that I think the market is set to drop going into the FOMC meeting, which is going to be on the 21st of September. So as we approach that date, I expect, or I think it's very likely the market's going to continue to drop. But after that, things could change, right? And there's going to be a big factor that really affects that. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the future forecast later. Right now, Powell is being dead serious with us. I mean, a lot of people thought that like, nothing would happen. When you look at what the market's pricing in, the market is preparing for a more hawkish Fed. This means the Fed is most likely going to be stricter on policy. And when they're stricter on policy, they may raise the federal funds rate to a larger degree. So we're starting to price in a 300 to 325 total basis point hike, which would be the equivalent of a 75 to 100 basis point hike for September. So that goes to show the Fed is most likely going to be more hawkish, and the market tends to not like that. The slowdown in demand will affect businesses, it's going to affect earnings, EPSs, and so on and so forth, and our whole economy collectively as we likely still are in a recession. With that said, I want to talk about something else. Okay, when the whole market takes a hit, right? Even if Tesla is its beta kind of got adjusted after the split, it's still going to react. That's the uncomfortable truth. Look how similar Tesla tends to move with the SPY. The blue line being the SPY, the white one being Tesla. You could see how similar these trends are. And I really think it's going to kind of continue that way for the next upcoming weeks. So as far as Tesla goes, I'm not going to give a specific target, but SPY obviously looks bearish. Nasdaq, same thing. I mean, they're very correlated. You can see Nasdaq was down almost 4%. That's horrible. It's a big drop from the Nasdaq. And I do see a continuation of a downtrend for Nasdaq and SPY. This will affect Tesla going forward. Where is Tesla going to go? Where's my Tesla chart? It's right here. Tesla, unfortunately, looks pretty bearish. I don't have a specific target just yet when it comes to how low it could actually go in the next few weeks. But I will tell you guys one thing, and that is the fact that I could see Tesla going to the 280s, the low 280s to 270s going into next week. It's very possible for this thing to take a bit of a hit, not just because of the overall market, but also the trend after the big splits. When what happens typically after many stock splits is stocks kind of push up going into the split and they actually dump afterwards. So that's also playing a bit of a role, but not as big of a role anymore as I think the overall market will have. So the market is most likely going to shift right now into the more bearish side, and I do expect Tesla to come down, unfortunately. Now, that's not the end of the world, guys. I'm still very bullish for the long term. I'm not going to give a specific price prediction for Monday yet. I'm going to save that for the Sunday video. I want to talk about some big pieces of news coming out, which are still fantastic for Tesla. We can see right here, Tesla's battery supplier Panasonic is considering another large-scale US battery cell factory. So that's going to be incredible news because as Tesla starts to deliver more of these cars, as they build more and more, there's going to be a higher demand for these batteries. And we know energy storage is becoming a massive, massive business. It's not just building or constructing more and more of them, but being able to make them a lot more efficient. And I think this is actually a great piece of news for Panasonic. I think it's going to help them with their supply issues, not just for Tesla, but across the entire globe. And I really think it's going to be very, very amazing. I think there was a shift in the location they're going to be choosing. I'm not sure if it's actually going to be in Kansas. It doesn't matter that much, but the new factory that's coming out, it's going to be good for Tesla coming forward. It's a good partnership, and I think they're still choosing between Oklahoma and Kansas. I think they're actually going to choose Kansas. I'm not 100% sure about which place it's going to be in, but the new 4680 cells for Tesla, that's a big thing that's coming out. It'll really help them big time. And I really like to see partnerships like this. It really, really boosts what their companies are able to do together, because the more they work together, the more efficient they can actually become if they really continue to improve the way they have been. So and something to really keep in mind. Additionally, we have a big piece of news. Elon Musk was talking in the past about how he wants to see Teslas adapt into the real world through various means, not just thanks to AI technology, but also Tesla police cars, Tesla trucks coming out, Tesla boats coming out. And we're finally starting to see some very, very cool things coming out, especially as the EV revolution is getting bigger and bigger. So Boulder City, Nevada is adding the Tesla EVs to its fleet. That's a big glimpse into the future. There's states in the United States like California that are planning on banning uh, gas powered cars in the future. And actually, I'm talking about the sales of gas powered cars, not like entirely, but that in turn, I mean, that's very ambiguous. Once again, people have different interpretations. I understand that. But from Tesla's end, how could you really be against that? That actually helps Tesla. It helps them get a lot more sales. There's going to be a big demand for a lot more energy because the power grid systems need lots of improvement there. And that's another venture I think Tesla could really enter as well. So I'm going to go into more details about that a little bit later. There are actually more serious things I need to focus on. But right now, the future is still very bright for Tesla. I see them adapting into the world right now, and I see huge things to come for the long term future. For the short term, however, the whole market is not in the best of states. The market is a little bit fearful right now. And once the panic sets in, I do see more potential downside for the market and Tesla for the next couple of weeks up until the FOMC meeting on the 21st of September. With that said and done, I'm not saying we're going to be red every single day, by the way. We're going to have way more red than green days, in my opinion. Lots of choppy action, but we are going to most likely respect a downtrend from there. Anyways, with that said, thank you so much for listening. Please enjoy the rest of your weekend. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and do what you have to do. Nothing in this video is financial advice, and I will most definitely see you guys in the next video. Tesla to the moon because the long term future is bright, and peace out.